Ivanka Trump is trying to desperately dodge the subpoena by the New York Attorney General in the civil fraud trial taking place in New York. Ivanka's even throwing her family under the bus, saying, look, this case is just about damages. Why do you even need my testimony? And she's further saying, New York? Where is that? I live in Florida now. I'm not a resident. You can't subpoena me for trial in a New York case as a Florida resident. I did a whole hot take on that, and I told you that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her team would not find those excuses satisfactory, and they would strike back, and strike back they did. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. When talking about Ivanka, we must never forget about corruption. The New York Attorney General Letitia James's office, they sure didn't. Let's just talk about that corruption. Like Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump making up to $640 million while they were given positions in the White House where they disgraced our nation, disgraced the White House, as did Donald Trump, grifted for 4 years in senior advisory positions, and they made $640 million. Yet the MAGA Republicans would just want you to just forget about that. When they do it, $640 million, $2 billion, $3 billion. Let us talk about President Biden's son, who never actually was in an official government position and was on drugs and has nothing to do with anything at all. But let's ignore people who were actually in the White House using their positions to screw over the United States of America. Talking about Ivanka corruption, China grants 18 trademarks in 2 months to Ivanka Trump. Yeah, more corruption, the MAGA Republican way. MAGA Mike, the new MAGA Republican Speaker of the House, would sure be proud. How about this? Jared Kushner's $2 billion Saudi check. If it couldn't even be more comically corrupt, the layers of it are just a big middle finger to our country because, of course, the Saudi crown prince said that Jared Kushner, who couldn't get a security clearance, yet was made the senior advisor in the United States of America to the Middle East. Yeah, the Saudi crown prince, MBS, boasted that he had Jared Kushner, quote, in his pocket. So, let's always talk about corruption. And why is that important to what the New York Attorney General is doing in the civil fraud case? Because the argument is, well, Ivanka Trump, you're trying to evade this subpoena because it's convenient for you. Just like you conveniently want us to forget about all of the benefits that came your way and still you derive from the Trump organization, but then you want no accountability when it ultimately comes to you. You don't even want to testify at trial, you coward. Here is Ivanka Trump's main arguments. She calls herself non-resident Ivanka Trump, number one, that you don't have jurisdiction over me because I'm not from New York. I live in Florida now, and this is a civil case. There is no comity, C-O-M-I-T-Y, in civil cases like there is with the Interstate Criminal Subpoena Act. So you can't force me to show up, New York Attorney General, and I'm not even affiliated with these Trump entities anymore. So there's no way to get me based on subpoenaing the Trump entities that are based in New York. Oh, and by the way, even if you attempt to do that, Ivanka Trump argues, I'm just going to have my underlings testify. I'll throw my underlings under the bus. And then Ivanka Trump says, and why do you even need me? Why do you even need me? The case is just about damages. My testimony would just be redundant. It is unnecessary. It would be superfluous. You don't need Ivanka, do you? Well, as I predicted, the New York Attorney General says, yeah, we do need you, and you are still getting lots of benefits from the Trump organization. And here's just an article from Newsweek. Ivanka Trump's credit card bills are being used against her, and it's far more than just her massive amounts of spending using Trump organization and Trump-related credit cards to purchase things, showing that she's still active, of course, in New York. But it's all of the benefits that she still receives. Lomi is the only appliance that prevents food waste from stinking up your kitchen and polluting the planet. Now that I've invested in a Lomi, it's changed the way I deal with my food waste. Lomi is the biggest innovation in the modern day kitchen since the dishwasher. Lomi has helped me turn my home into a climate solution. Now I can transform my organic waste into nutrient-rich Lomi earth that I can feed to my plants, lawn, or garden instead of sending it to the landfill. I can help the environment and make my life easier. In just 4 hours, Lomi transforms almost anything you eat into nutrient-rich plant food at the push of a button. It's smart, simple food recycling that fits my space perfectly. Cut the chore of doing the trash in half and eliminate bugs and odors in your kitchen. And here's the bonus. You get to feed your lawn and garden with an all-natural fertilizer that you just created out of your food scraps. All my food scraps, plant clippings, and even those leftovers I forgot in the back of the fridge can go back into my garden, helping me grow more nutritious food at home. I learned that food waste makes up a huge portion of our personal carbon footprint also. By reducing the amount of food I send to landfill, I'm helping to do my part for the planet. Whether you want to start making a positive environmental impact or just grow a beautiful garden, Lomi is perfect for you. Head to lomi.com/Meidas and use the promo code Meidas to get $50 off your Lomi. That's $50 off when you head to lomi.com/Meidas and use the promo code Meidas at checkout. Thank you, Lomi, for sponsoring this episode. This is in the motion compelling Ivanka to testify. Here, New York Attorney General Letitia James says the following: Ms. Trump remains under the control of the Trump Organization, including through her ongoing and substantial business ties to the organization. Ms. Trump reappointed herself to a participating member of several Trump Organization entities following her departure from the government. Ivanka Trump only disclaims any connection when asked to answer for her involvement with the Trump Organization, New York Attorney General Letitia James alleges, adding that her efforts to distance herself from her father's business carries no legal weight. New York Attorney General Letitia James further argues, she does not seem to be averse to her involvement in the family business when it comes to owning and collecting proceeds from the old post office sale in Washington, D.C. Remember how corrupt that was? Where all of the foreign businesses would inject massive amounts of money when the Trump Organization took over the old post office and turned it into a Trump hotel, right? It goes, she does not seem to be averse from collecting money, from collecting proceeds from the OPO sale, the Trump Organization purchasing insurance for her and her companies, managing her household staff and credit card bills, renting her apartment, or even paying her legal fees in this action. And as an initial matter, Ms. Trump tries to draw a distinction between whether the subpoena had been served on her individually or as an officer of the entities addressed beneath her name in the subpoena. But here's the thing. New York Attorney General Letitia James argues very strongly here. All roads lead to Rome. All roads, however you do it, lead to the Trump Organization. They're paying for your lifestyle. You got the benefit of the grift. They pay for your credit cards. They pay for your legal fees. They pay for your apartment. You get proceeds from the Trump Organization sale of assets that are under this lawsuit as being fraudulent-based assets in terms of their valuations and how they were operated. All roads lead back to the Trump Organization, Ivanka. Regardless of how the subpoenas are parsed, sufficient service was effected to compel Ms. Trump's testimony, whether individually or as an officer or agent of the corporate entities. New York Attorney General Letitia James states in the motion compelling Ivanka to testify. So ultimately, let's see if Ivanka testifies. I think Judge Engoron will order her to testify. I'm sure she will try to file an appeal. But how cowardly can you be? When you line up all the deposition testimony, I won't replay it here because I'm sure you've seen it in other videos that I've done, right? You've got Eric Trump go, statement of financial conditions? I was never a part of that. You've got Donald Trump saying, Eric Trump was involved in the statement of financial conditions, and Alan Weisselberg was responsible for certifying that the statement of financial conditions and our financials were done pursuant to GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Alan Weisselberg. How do you feel about that? GAAP? I'm not a CPA. What's a GAAP? I don't know what generally accepting accounting principles are. I don't know what that is. Go to Jeff McConney, the controller of the Trump organization. Oh, by the way, I should mention Alan Weisselberg, convicted felon. Alan Weisselberg, who served in Rikers Island and pled guilty to multiple counts of felony tax fraud in connection with his role at the Trump organization, who, by the way, took a severance agreement not to cooperate. Okay, but then Jeff McConney, hey, Jeff, what do you say? Oh, Alan Weisselberg told me to commit fraud. Okay, what about the outside appraisers? What do you think about this? Does Eric Trump not know about appraisals and statement of financial conditions? No, he knows about that. We talked about that with him. Don Jr., what do you know about GAAP? Oh, I don't know anything about GAAP. I know that they're generally accepted. That's what's going down, folks. And Ivanka, you don't want to help out your brothers? You don't want to help out your dad? I thought, you just want the benefits, huh? What a corrupt family these Trumpers are. And I think it was important to mention at the outset all of that corruption. And by the way, what I talked about was just a smidgen of the sadistic Trump corruption that was an absolute disgrace to our country. That's absolute anathema to who we are in our nation. But that's what else would we expect from Ivanka other than this cowardly behavior? Great motion by New York Attorney General Letitia James. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted here on the MeidasTouch Network. Now, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. And if you've been loving the independent journalism we've been doing here, you could contribute at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Let's keep building this independent media platform together. Have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.